Hello, everyone. This is very exciting. It's Steph Lee and the founder of Host Agents Reviews, and I'm finally back on the Friday 15th. So thank you, Maureen, for letting me come back on and for helping me out when I wasn't feeling well for so long.
Oh, well, it's great to have you back, Steph.
I'm so excited, and it's 2022, everyone. So it's I've said this the last 2 years, and I may have been a little off in my predictions, but this is going to be a really great year. I can feel it. So let's see. So Friday 15, welcome to it. First thing we want to talk about is Host Week, which is coming up the last week in January. It's it's the event for hosted advisors, if I do say so myself. And if you haven't gotten enough video screen time on meetings, here's going to be another video event for you. So, but it's nice. There'll be a lot of interviews with host agencies. If you're interested in changing host agencies or starting to align with one, we also have great keynote speakers. We have ATTA coming on, Mark Meter. We have Vicky Freed from Royal Caribbean. We have Sandra McLemore from Travel Marketing and Media. We have the Adventure Travel Trade Association President, Shannon Stowell, coming on. And we'll also hear a little bit from ATTA if there's any Canadian advisors out there that want to tune in. There'll also be Canadian host agencies that you can check out. So if you want more information into RSVP, you can go to hostagencyreviews.com/hostweek, and it will take you to more info in the registration. So with that, Maureen, what questions do we have this week?
So our first question is from Miranda. So Miranda is still trying to choose a host agency. She's had a handful of hosts picked out to call, but her first choice, based solely on website information, is booked until January. So I ended up digging a bit more and ran across another host agency, set up a call, and have been super impressed with everything so far. It feels like a great fit, and I'm super excited to get started. So I guess my question for those of you with experience, do I go with my gut and give the second host agency a try and get started with my training, or do I try to stay and be patient and wait until after my call in January for what I thought was my top choice and go from there? So first off, Miranda, thanks for the question, about choosing a host agency. So this is really important. Kind of knowing what it is, what you want from a host agency really is important. So I would highly suggest, being that you already had a host that you were interested in and they can't speak to you until, sometime in January, it is definitely worth the wait. Because clearly there was something about the host that spoke to you that you were interested in. And I like the fact that you were proactive and you have already taken a look at another host and you've already set up, done a call with them, and you were really impressed with them and the program that they had to offer. So I think that, being patient, if you have the time to just wait to speak to them, it will be well worth it, because I think once you do interview that first choice host agency, you're going to have a better idea. You're going to know once you've spoken to them, which of the two is really going to be the best fit for you. So, kind of some tips that I would give to you is, to make sure. So on our website, in one of the links I'm going to put into the comments for you, we actually have a host agency comparison worksheet. And I think this is a great place for you to be able to put down side-by-side comparison of the two host agencies. And then also make notes about your call with both the host. Because, like I said, you're going to know once you've made that call which one is really going to be the right fit for you. And, if you're lucky enough, you might find that both of those really are a good fit for you, but it's really going to come down to what is most important to you. So things like the size of a host agency, whether you want a smaller size or a larger size one. For some people, it's also where the host is located. That can be important to them, but also looking at what kind of training programs they have to offer, and especially what kind of onboarding programs do they have for you as a new agent coming into the host. And then, do they offer a mentoring program? So many of them do. So definitely finding that out, because it's important to start off on the right foot. And if they do have a program like that, take full advantage of that. And then, certainly looking at what kind of travel that, what type of travel do you want to sell? So if you are interested in cruises or adventure travel, things like that, taking a look to see what do they offer. Most of them, there's going to be such a broad choice of different suppliers for you to be working with there. So just investigating on their website, and then also on our sites, we have all the hosts listed there, and we do have a place where we do list some of the type of travel that they do have available for you to sell. And then kind of most importantly is, what your budget is. That is also going to determine which is going to be a better fit for you too, is your budget. And then making sure that you are looking at things like, what the startup fees might be, if they have any annual fees, and then also the commission splits are important to you as well. So did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Steph?
Well, I'm curious who this host agency is that's got a backup of 3 to 4 weeks before they can talk to somebody, because that's a very
I,
popular host agency.
I know,
Kudos.
right?
um, no, but I would agree with you. I think it's smart to wait to hear from at least 2 host agencies, only because I think
Yeah.
we've all gone, we wanted to buy something like a new knife or something for our kitchen. And if you're just feeling like, oh, I really want to get this knife, like this great bread knife for my kitchen, and you buy the first thing, and then, later you find out that there were other options. You're like, oh, I wish I would have researched it just a little bit better. So that's why I would say waiting until the second host agency is interviewed, because there's not a lot, honestly, in the grand scheme of your business. If we take a step back, waiting 3 weeks is not going to make or break your agency. And even if you aren't able to technically have a business set up because you haven't started with a host agency and you can't start booking, there's a lot of stuff you can do while you're interviewing host agencies. You can come up with your name, you can design your logo, you can start working on your website content. There's you can design your business cards, you can take tons of trainings online. So I wouldn't worry about that 3 weeks, even though it seems really long. It's going to fly by really quickly. And while you're waiting, use that time to start learning about the travel industry, coming up with your brand, and making connections within the travel industry.
So that's a great point. So I'm going to make sure to put a link into the comments, regarding travel agency names, and then websites, things like Steph had mentioned that you can do in the meantime till you have a chance to talk to this other host. So those are great areas to get things going so that you are prepared when you do make your decision as well. So, and then also, I'm going to make sure that I put a link in the comments too for tips on choosing a host agency. And this article does have the host agency comparison worksheet in there. So make sure that you go on there and take a look at that, because that's really going to help you. I know you said you already interviewed one, so put all that information in there. And then when you're ready to interview the second one, you're going to be able to do that side by side comparison. That's, I think, is going to be really helpful for you in making your final decision.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for writing in, Miranda. It was a great question.
Yeah. And, here's another resource too, Miranda, just in case, if you want to look at other host agencies to choose from, is actually on our site, we have our host agency review Luminary Awards.
Yay!
Which, yeah, so this is something that the host agencies, the advisors are the ones that are posting reviews about their host agency. And, they based off a certain criteria. This allows them to be able to get an award based off of what their agent's feedback is. And, these agents are doing this because they firmly believe in the host agency that they are with. And they believe in the support, the marketing, everything that host has to offer. So I think that this would be another really good tool for you to, be able to go and take a look at who is in our 2021 Luminary Awards. And then, in just a couple weeks, I know Steph had already mentioned that Host Week is coming up.
Yay!
So we will have our 2022 Luminary Awards as well. So, that's really only 2 weeks away. So if, you do interview that other host agency, in the next couple weeks, and then you wanted to see who makes, our 2022 list, that would be another place to take a look at some other host agency options for you as well.
Yeah.
So I'll just make sure that I put a link into the comments so that you can see who was part of the 2021 Luminary Awards. And then, like I mentioned, don't forget to kind of check back, go to our website to look at our host week that comes up on January 23rd through the 29th. And just make sure you take a look at the list, because we will be announcing the Luminary Awards on that as well.
Yeah, they're gonna be announced on Fridays. So if that's something of interest, and I'm gonna give people, I hope none of the host agencies are listening because this is a secret. So for their gift, I'm very excited, and we'll see if this actually turns out. So this may not actually be what happens, but my vision is to make these really fun galaxy cookies for them, because if a host agency sweeps all the awards, we give them what's called the Galaxy Award. And so I've been watching YouTube tutorials on how to make galaxy cookies that are super cool. And if all turns out well, they'll get these cool cookies, and hopefully they'll be tasty and beautiful. But again, I don't know. Everybody's had like their Pinterest fail, so it very well may not turn out like that. But that's my vision. So tune in on Friday of Host Week for the Luminary Award winners.
Perfect. So our next question comes from Jeannie. So in researching, I really want to be affiliated and involved with ATTA. Am I able to do this with my LLC, or does my host have to be affiliated with them? I read that Travel Leaders Network is ATTA friendly, but if I signed with a host that is part of Signature Travel Network, can I still join work with ATTA? I am trying to figure out how the host consortium works and the best way to closely work with ATTA, either through my host or on my own. Trying to decide this before picking my host.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a really interesting question, because there's really kind of three different types of questions within this. So first off, ATTA, which is, for those that may not know, it's the Adventure Travel Trade Association. So this organization, actually, you can join this on your own. They actually have a community member ship on there that is free, that you can go ahead and join that, and it's going to give you access to their articles, business guides, and education webinars. And then they do also offer things like a professional or a business membership as well. So maybe somewhere down the line that might be something to look at, as well with them. So, and just so you know, that you could be part of a host agency or consortium that does have some sort of affiliation with ATTA as well. So kind of keep that in mind when you are looking at your host, or if you're going down a consortium path, to kind of keep that in mind. And I just want to make sure that we do put a link in the comments for you for ATTA's website. That I'm sure you've already been there, but just so that you have that, go take a look at the community membership that they do offer that is free, and then kind of talks about what they are about and all that they do have to offer to you as well. So yeah. And did you have anything about ATTA that you want to toss in there?
Yes, because I love the ATTA. So we're actually having the Jeannie, this might be of interest to you. So let me see. Let me look at the calendar real quick. Well, also on Friday. So whoever is listening to this, you got to tune in on Friday to Host Week. But Shannon, the president of the ATTA, is doing our keynote, and I'll be interviewing him. And Shannon is just a really, really wonderful person. So can't speak highly enough of them on that regard. But just a couple things. So they do have, beyond the free membership, the travel agent membership, travel advisor. It's like, I think that's like $150 a year or something. But what I would say is the ATTA, in terms of the relationship with Travel Leaders. So Travel Leaders has their adventure specialist training program, I think, that they co-wrote with the ATTA to really focus. Perry Lungmas over at Travel Leaders was kind of heading that up. And so they have a great partnership. And I think they're the only consortium that has a formalized relationship with the ATTA. But that doesn't mean that you don't have access to ATTA events or anything like that if you're with other consortia. And having been to quite a few ATTA events, and my undergrad degree was environmental science, so I really like adventure stuff and eco-friendly things. but you're really going to like them, Janine. Their events are fantastic. They're a great way to meet local tour operators that are maybe more under the radar, more boutique, have a lot more eco-friendly options than what you would see with mainstream operators. The other thing I'll warn you about is there's not a lot of travel advisors at the moment that belong to ATTA. That's something they're looking to build out. But as more travel advisors join, it's really, really helpful, because then that kind of pushes them to start putting more programming for travel advisors and to build out that end of the business. And that's all I had to say on that, Maureen.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, and also, so just want to make sure. So, being that it looks like that adventure travel is something that you do want to break into, Jeannie. So, I'm going to make sure that we put a link into the comments for how to choose a niche, which you're already kind of on that path. But this will be a good place to kind of start, kind of figure out what exactly you really do want to sell, and what kind of suppliers do you want to work with as well. So, and too, if you do join a host agency or you are part of a consortium, you're going to have the benefit of having preferred suppliers already in place with both of those organizations. So I know that you were kind of wondering the difference. What is the difference between like a consortium and a host agency? So really, a consortium is a travel organization that kind of has put together all the pieces for agents and agencies with things like technology, marketing, training, and they've already done the supplier negotiations for you. And all this kind of leads to things like access to higher commissions, having that preferred supplier relationship that the consortium has already built for you. And then, like I mentioned, having great marketing programs. So a host agency basically is, they will join the consortium, and that is kind of what gives them the ability, the higher ability to have the higher commissions, to have the amazing technology that is out there, marketing through both your host and your consortium. So a lot of these host agencies are members of a consortium, and there's a lot of power behind having a consortium, as and a host agency together. It brings so much to you as the agent, and as an agency, it's really going to give you some infrastructure to really operate your travel agency business. So I just would highly recommend that, choosing whether or not you want to join a host. And if you do, great, because they are going to be affiliated with a consortium. Or if you choose just to go down the consortium path, make sure that you do go to our website. So real quick, let me share here. I just wanted to show where you would want to go on our website so that you can figure out. So it's right when you get to it, you're going to see I'm looking for a host agency. But if you click on the down arrow, you can also see consortium, and just click go, and then this is going to list the consortiums that are on here. And I know that you had specifically mentioned Signature Travel Network, so you can go here. Right here is their website, and then as you kind of go down, you can see all their information on here, their focuses, which very first one is adventure travel. And then, it talks about if they have lead programs, their pricing structures, what kind of marketing tools that they do have available. And then if you keep scrolling down, here are just a couple of the host agencies that we have that are part of Signature Travel Network. So this would be another good place to start. If it's really Signature is kind of the driving force in choosing a host, then maybe take a look at, here are some host agencies here for you to kind of take a look at that are part of the Signature Travel Network. But if you are looking at another consortium, same thing, just scroll down and you'll be able to see what consortium the host agency is affiliated with. So hopefully that kind of helps you out as well. So, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and then, what I'd like to do, I want to make sure that I put an article. I have two different articles I want to put into the links for you. One is, what a travel consortium is. And then also another one is kind of it's a guide to host agency and consortium educations. programs. So
Yeah.
taking a looking at that, because that's also going to help you it's going to give you like a comparison chart of what both a host and a consortium do offer. And just so you know, they both offer training programs. So, I mean, you could never have too much training, and you can utilize both your host and your consortium's training programs. Plus, in addition to that, your suppliers that are part of those preferred supplier relationships, they're going to have training programs on there as well too that you can take advantage of as well. So I think that kind of answers all of our questions for today. Was there anything else that you had, Stephanie?
No. Oddly enough, I'm out of things to talk about, but actually not, because as we wrap things up, a couple of reminders. One, go to hostagencyreviews.com/host week and RSVP for your spot. We'll send out daily emails with the schedule as it gets closer and links to everything. But make sure to go on there and RSVP. And then if you have any questions for us, we'd love to hear from you, whether you're new or experienced or whatever the issues are. If you have dog training problems, we can answer those to the best of our ability, but Maureen and I have very wild dogs, so I'm not sure if you'd want that.
No.
But you can go to hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15 and submit your questions there. And then I'm going to be popping in and out on Friday 15 and co-hosting with Maureen now that I'm feeling better. So wanted to say thank you again, Maureen, for picking things up when I was incapable of it. And then thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll be back next Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time.
Perfect.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody next week. Bye.
Ciao.